All right, welcome back. Day 3. And, when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, um, there was a couple of directions that I wanted to go, but I wasn't really sure where I would land. And I just meditated on the topics throughout the day, and finally something came to mind. And it came to mind because my knee has been hurting. And I wore a pair of running shoes that I bought when I entered or started my running journey earlier this year. And basically what I'm going to talk about today, and I'm kind of laughing because I kind of brushed it off and downplayed it, but then I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and I really got into, why I wanted to start running. So my knee has been hurting me, and what this topic is related to is the midlife crisis. And I know that looks different for a lot of people. When we think of, or when I thought of midlife crisis, I'm thinking, oh, I got to go get me a sports car. I got to go get me a new motorcycle. I have to, jump off of the Empire State Building or something like that with a parachute. But having this midlife crisis and, doing something extreme. And, basically what that comes back to me in my mind is wanting to kind of rediscover my youth by being adventurous, by doing something extreme, something that may be associated with not someone who's soon to be 50. But the other thing that when I think about that midlife crisis is wrestling with that second part of life, and realizing and knowing that that end is closer now than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or whatever it is. And I say that with all due respect to knowing and really honoring that every day is a blessing. So let me first and foremost say that every day is a blessing. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And it is one of the things I try to do is to live every day to its fullest, be my best, and have the type of impact, influence, concern for people that I can possibly have. And as a hard critic on myself, I know I fall short of those things many days. Sometimes I just don't have the energy or the strength to want to get out of bed. But I get out of bed because I have to. Got to get my kids to school. I got to go to work so I can pay the bills. And things have to get done. So I have to get up and go. And, as I'm getting to that age 50, it really made me think and makes me think of, wow, 50 years have come and gone. So I've been phrasing things, as I talk about, where I'm at this stage is like this reflective point. I'm evaluating, the next phases of work that I want to do, whether that's professionally or in the community, and, how do I want to take my being a husband and a father to the next level, thinking about those things. And it's something that's really important. And I think something that I've done year to year, right? Always wanting to improve. But at the beginning of 2025, I had this idea in my mind of running a marathon. Now, I'm an athlete, played college football, played basketball, ran track. I'm an athlete. I'm not the same type of athlete that I used to be, but I am an athlete. And I decided that that's how I wanted to tap into my youth and to go even further, commit to doing something that not a lot of people have done, something that is hard, because I wanted to feel alive. I wanted to do something that would make me feel alive. And I thought about running a marathon. And I started out slow. I started out just by walking. I couldn't even run 2 laps around a track without stopping in the beginning. But I eventually got up to, you know, completing a mile without stopping, eventually knocking time off that mile. I ran a event, which was a small event, which was just a little bit over a mile in distance. I did that. Then I started training for a 5K, and I signed up for a 5K event. But unfortunately for me, as I was training, the last week of preparation, I changed things up, which I shouldn't have done. I should have just stayed consistent with the training that I had been doing. And I hurt my knee, got runner's knee. And it's probably something that was building up and that was going to come anyway. But it wound up coming at a time where a week down the road, I was supposed to run a 5K event and I had to pull out. And that was devastating because I had worked so hard. And it was devastating because it was taking a while for my knee to heal. I went to the doctors because it just wasn't getting better. So I had to, get checked out. I had to get, some creams and things like that. I had to rehab it to make it feel better. And it put me back in my training, so much so that I haven't run since May. So we're talking about, 6 months that I haven't been running. And part of that running also is because after I got better, my in-laws came from the Philippines, so we did some family stuff, and I just didn't have the time, and I lost that motivation. I lost that momentum, and that's something that I have to gain back. Since then, I've adjusted my thought process on, what running a marathon is going to look like for me in 2026. So again, I'm going to get to training so I can get that 5K. Then I'm going to do, maybe a 10K before I do like a half marathon. But I've got a plan and I'm going to work myself up to it. And I know it's going to be hard work. I'm going to need someone who knows how to run a marathon to help me accomplish that goal. But the goal is still to do that in year 2026. So, that's been my midlife crisis. Who wants to run a marathon? And who does that at age 50, who is not a distance runner? And that's why I laugh, right? Because I know there's plenty of people that are running marathons at 50 and 60 and 70 and probably even older than that, right? It's something that pushes the human spirit, it pushes the human body, the psyche of a person to be able to accomplish that. And that is still on my to-do list. And it is something that I know I can get done with the proper training, the proper mindset, and the proper plan. So I'm going to get back on that. But that's what I wanted to share today. Our midlife crises, It looks different. But where it stemmed from, of wanting to live, wanting to rediscover my youth, wanting to feel alive, I think there might be some similarities for folks that are at this stage in life. So I just want to thank y'all for all of the support this last 3 days. It's been phenomenal. And as I say always, be good, God bless, take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.